Um, Next piece of little news. U.S. and Iran wrap up latest nuclear talks without a deal, and so it looks like
Back at it to try to avoid a new conflict in the Middle East.
looks like we're probably gonna get more conflict in the Middle East. People, you guys ready for forever war?
Iran and the United States are holding talks for a third time as the Trump administration works to delay Tehran's nuclear program and is deploying a massive number of aircraft and warships to the region. The military buildup has raised concerns on Iran at a time when its theocratic leadership has come under pressure from street protests. A short while ago, Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi of Oman, which is hosting the talks, emerged from this hotel behind me and gave a thumbs up when asked if he was hopeful for a deal.
Are you hopeful today, sir? Are you hopeful?
His motorcade then crossed the lake here in Geneva to the residence of the Omani ambassador, where President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi were leading teams holding indirect, not face-to-face, talks. The state.
Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Whoopsies. It's funny how the U.S. It's so fun how the U.S. is just a constant warmongering nation. That's true. It is so much fun, isn't it? Can we actually like have a functioning website, AP News, please?
Back at it to try to avoid a number of aircraft leadership has come under pressure from street protests. A short while ago, Foreign Minister Badr al-Busaidi of Oman, which is hosting the talks, emerged from this hotel behind me and gave a thumbs up when asked if he was hopeful for a deal.
Are you hopeful today, sir? Are you hopeful?
His motorcade then crossed the lake here in Geneva to the residence of the Omani ambassador, where President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi were leading teams holding indirect, not face-to-face, talks. The standoff centers on U.S. demands that Iran halt enrichment of uranium that could be used in a nuclear bomb, or stop its production of long-range missiles. Iran's government,
Which they wouldn't have done if we never backed out of the fucking Iran deal.
To generate electricity for civilian use. Concerns are that if no deal is struck, the United States may use military action to try to get its way.
They have uranium? Yeah, every country has uranium.
There would be no victory.
What was the Iran deal? The Iranian nuclear deal was something by Obama. Then why haven't they bombed the U.S. yet? Because intercontinental ballistic missiles are very expensive. Those are mini spaceships, and Iran would never bomb the U.S. That would mean the end of their country. What Iran wants to do is bomb Israel. And 20 countries fucking hate us. That's true. They have every right to. We ruined their economies. We destroyed the Middle East for decades and decades and decades. What was the Iranian deal? The nuclear Iranian deal was something that Obama put in place with the government of Iran, where we get to go in, see their uranium levels, make sure they're not enriching it for nuclear weapons, make sure they're using it only for nuclear energy. Iran doesn't. I mean, we don't pay for any of it. Iran pays for it. It's just a guarantee that the U.S. doesn't invade Iran or go to war with them. Iran pays for the U.S. ambassadors to go visit and take a look at everything. And it was actually a really good deal.
For anybody, it would be a devastating war. And since the Americans' bases are scattered to different places in the region, then unfortunately, perhaps the whole region would be engaged and would be involved. Of course, we are prepared. We are fully prepared for both options. War, God forbid, and peace. I think a fair, balanced, and equitable deal is achievable, and we can do it. Uh, of course, our armed forces are prepared to do their job, and we know how to defend ourselves. And this is what we did last time. And we have learned lots of lessons from the last war. So we
And
are
the thing about Iran versus like Afghanistan or other countries in the Middle East is that Iran is like a genuinely more functioning like society and country.
even more prepared. And that means, by the way,
I feel like one day every country is gonna
that
try and destroy us because of
the
Trump.
aim
Nah,
is
that
to
won't
prevent the
happen.
war. We are ready to remove concerns, but we are not ready to.
Those are big boats. Yeah. Just as the talks ended, Iranian state television reported that Tehran was determined to continue enriching uranium, rejected proposals to transfer it abroad, and sought the lifting of international sanctions, indicating it was not prepared to meet U.S. President Donald Trump's demands. Trump wants to cut a deal with Iranian nuclear program, seeing the opportunity while the country is struggling at home with growing dissent following nationwide protests. Iran also hopes to avert war, but maintains it as a right to enrich uranium and does not want to discuss other issues like its long-range missile program or support for armed groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. So all this happened because of the Epstein files a little bit. Al-Busadi said technical talks involving lower-level reps would continue next week in Vienna. U.S. Iranian state television. Iran's foreign minister said the talks with the U.S. were most intense and longest rounds of negotiations. What needs to happen? God, dude, I fucking hate our country. America attacks Iran, says the U.S. military bases in the region would be considered legitimate targets, putting at risk tens of thousands of American service members. Their lives are about to get so much worse just because the U.S. wants to keep on allowing Israel to commit genocide. Yeah, I mean, the Israeli or the Iranian government isn't great. Like, it's like the same thing with Venezuela. The government isn't great. We do not support the Ayatollah, but the U.S. invasion is much worse. And the U.S. wouldn't invade to liberate the country. There would be no victory for anybody. It would be devastating war. Since the American bases are scattered through different places in the region, unfortunately, perhaps the whole region would be engaged and involved. So it's a very terrible scenario. Ali Vaez, Iran to do. There may not be a breakthrough at the end of the day, but the very fact the U.S. team is returning shows that there's enough common ground between the two sides. Two sides hold multiple rounds. Israel launched a 12-day war against Iran, which they did without consulting the U.S. U.S. suspects Iran is rebuilding its program. I mean, yeah, I guarantee they are. Forever wars. Forever wars in the Middle East. Oh my God. Tehran could retaliate against the American ally nation Persian Gulf for Israel. Oil prices have risen in recent days. Concern. $70 a barrel. Yeah. 10 billion wars at the same time. Yeah. I mean, Geneva reality is. I got you. Submission before threats. Just before the talks, Iran announced its paramilitary revolutionary guard started the drill early Monday morning. What's up, Sky Young? 20% of the world's oil passes separately. Yeah. Was this yesterday? Oh, no, this is a while ago. This is February 16th. I don't know. I could see this going down the forever war. I really don't enjoy this country. I don't like how much suffering this country constantly pushes on the entire world. Uh It's fucked. It's very fucked. And I mean, the thing about it is, it's going to be so much worse than. Ooh, let's say what Fox News has to say about it. It'd be so much worse than Afghanistan and our last forever war, because like, again, Iran is like a functioning country. Not to say Afghanistan isn't, but like, there's a difference. Can I? Fox News, you gonna let me play the fucking goddamn video?
Very big
There we go.
story right now. The latest round of talks between the United States and Iran have concluded. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, reportedly, quote, disappointed by the morning session, according to reporting from Axios. Oman is mediating these negotiations and says technical talks are set for next week in Vienna, the home of the UN's nuclear watchdog, the IAEA. We spoke to their director here, Rafael Grossi, last week about what all of that would look like. Now, President Trump sending what he calls a huge armada of U.S. warships. It is the largest
Jesus, that's a lot.
war power from the United States since before the Iraq War. Just take a look at what this
is like Gulf War
in terms
levels.
of what these waterways are full of with American firepower right now. The president has warned that really bad things will happen. This is his warning to Iran if they don't cut a deal. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yanks live in Tel Aviv, and Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin in Washington. Great to have both of you with us. Trey, what is your sense of how these talks have gone in Geneva and what this buildup in the whole region, including in Israel, looks like?
Martha, good afternoon. It's a great question. And according to Oman's foreign minister, the man who was mediating these indirect conversations today in Geneva, Switzerland, there was significant progress made, and technical details, according to the foreign minister, are going to be discussed next week in Austria.
Nobel Peace Prize. That's true.
Before, and that's why you see this massive military buildup across the region. And here in Israel, officials preparing for the possibility that war erupts in the days ahead. And so while there is initial optimism, and the Iranians are telling their state media outlets that they will go back to the capital of Tehran and discuss the technical details, there is still a tension in the air across the Middle East, understanding that if these talks fail, the region is headed into conflict. Martha?
Jennifer, thank you, Trey. What is your sense from Pentagon sources? Obviously, they are ready, and potentially a comparison to what we saw in Venezuela, and what signs we can read right now about where this is going.
Well, I think what I'm looking at right now are a few things. First of all, the Gerald R. Ford Aircraft Carrier Strike Group, which everybody's been watching. It was in Suda Bay, Crete, getting resupply, getting munitions. It is now moving east toward Israel, and it will be in position off the coast of Israel tomorrow. Then we also have the F-22s. The F-22s, another squadron, was moved on Tuesday from Lakenheath in the UK to Israel. It's the first time F-22s have ever been based in Israel, and it suggests that that is a location that they would be safer than if they were at other locations across the Gulf, where typically the U.S. would keep its warplanes. So there is a positioning of assets so that if the president takes a decision following these talks, a decision that the talks have failed, then there would be a massive air and naval campaign that would likely target not only the three sites, nuclear sites that they targeted last summer, but also the IRGC. It's not clear whether this is about regime change. We've heard very confusing messages from the Secretary of State and even Steve Witkoff in recent days, suggesting that it's also about the ballistic missiles, that Steve Witkoff says that Iran is a week away from having a nuclear bomb. That is not the case based on intelligence people that I know who are familiar with the intelligence. But a lot of confused messaging. All eyes still are on Geneva and now Vienna next week for those talks with the IAEA.
All right. Well, great to have you both on board covering this story. And it's one we're watching very closely, obviously, to see what comes next. Jennifer Griffith and Trey Yanks, thank you very much. Good to see you both.
Yeah. Europe. I mean, got to keep the stocks up. This is just going to be infinite money. Infinite money generator, truthfully, infinite money generator. I'm trying to see if we can see where the U.S. boats are. USS. General R. Ford. Location. Where are you, baby girl? You know, I do like having a VPN, but goddamn. Ship name USS John F. Kennedy. USS John F. Kennedy. USS. Can I even find it? I mean, it's in Israel. We know it's docking at Israel right now. Oh, the boys in the military going to be getting some good food pretty soon here. Some good food. Oh. Okay, let's see if I can find this on the other map. What is this? Okay, hold on. You go up here. 33.64 negative 11.9. 33.64 negative 11.9. Should be like in this area, but I wish Marine Tracker was easier to use. But yeah, I'm not surprised that Geneva nuclear talks from Iran were positive. I mean, I doubt it. Iran just said no to the dismantling field enrichment plant, no to shutting down nuclear facility, no to touching Isfahan nuclear technology center, no to handing over uranium. Tehran's offer temporary fees, technical steps, trust us. Washington's demand those are enrichment forever. Looks like very long weekend. Yep. And we're probably going to enter. I could see us entering another forever war within the next month. I could see the U.S. entering another forever war within the next, like, a month or two. Where's the boat? Where's the boat? I don't see the boat.
Welcome to the new generation of web creation, where words can launch a business.
Yeah. You ate the boat. True.